Hello and welcome. My name is Ajaxpost and this is Transport Fever 2, and we start off overlooking our magnificent central hub city of Ajaxima with the most awesome passenger transport hub sat here, bisecting, sat in the middle of well, it's not really a metropolis, to be honest. It hasn't actually grown that much compared to, it's in percentage terms at least, compared to some of the other cities we've got. But that's mostly because people are coming in here and then going straight out again, go somewhere else, because more or less every town on the map has to connect into Ajaxima, our central passenger hub here, for passengers at least, has to connect here before they can go to any other towns. So there are very few links between other individual towns. There are some towns which are linked together on a single route into Ajaxima, or indeed out of Ajaxima, but they are pretty much the rarity. Anyway, I just thought I'd stop here because we don't often take the time to indulge in a little bit of self-satisfaction and pride in our achievements. So I thought today we would start with that. This is our company headquarters, sat in the commercial district, probably, of Ajaxima, and it's looking quite impressive. I believe this is the third level headquarters that we get in Transport Fever 2, and as you can see, it's got my little company name, Ajax One Network, and a little statue in a fountain to commemorate the engineers that we have employed and have constructed our magnificent network of trains and road vehicles and boats and indeed aeroplanes. Now, I've got the game in pause at the moment, as you can possibly tell, because something needs fixing. Yeah, usually. This often happens, doesn't it? And it's again another example of me having an idea in my head of doing something and then working out a very simple and obvious way of getting it done and not really considering alternate options for doing it. So I do what I first thought of doing, then I look back at it, or someone like, for example, G. George, for example, comments on that video and says, "What on earth do you think you're doing? That was the most ludicrous route I've ever seen you put down." And I have put down quite a few ludicrous routes. I have to tell you that. Yeah, I'm almost famous for it. This is the culprit. This is the culprit. We wanted to save this quarry here, which was about to go out of business. And we happen to have a Conmat plant over there, which is very convenient. And we've also got towns, cities, whatever you want to call them, over here, which require said Conmat. So I thought, let's connect this quarry to the Conmat plant. And we did that. Not by going straight to the Conmat plant, but by going round the bay in this rather long, though relatively cheap train route around there. And as G. George noted, the way the game works in terms of the revenue you get for delivering something to somewhere is the as the crow flies distance kind of thing. So it's a straight line distance between the two places. So the stone we pick up here, when we deliver it to the Conmat plant here, the price we get is based upon this distance here across the bay. Not the actual 3,000 times longer length that I took it to get there. Slight exaggeration for dramatic effect. No. So this is a very inefficient train route. And what I did after G. George's comment is I played on for a year or two to see what would happen and what the issues were. And of course, it's absolutely right. This is a totally, ridiculously inefficient route. So the first thing I'm going to do is say, hands up, I made an error here and we'll make this route more logical. I also spotted some other issues with this whole industry chain of Conmat. So I'm going to do a bit more tinkering as well when we finish the rebuilding of this route. But I'll discuss those when we get to them. So it's not too bad actually. Our very first train, that one there, that's it, the quarry bulk. There you go. You're only 6 months old. This is your very first delivery of stone to that quarry. So yeah, and you're already losing nearly 1.5 million. If we watch that, which we will do when I get around to it, if we watch that, then we'll see it doesn't make up anything like that deficit from the income it gets from that stone. So yeah, right, so what we're going to do, I'm not actually going to follow G. George's advice, which was obviously a much more efficient or at least game efficient way of doing this. So I'm still going to keep to my original design of a train route from the quarry to the combat plant, another train route up there. There's probably a better way of organising it, so we have a sort of centre point either on the combat plant here, or more likely on the dock side there, maybe. But I'm going to keep it like it is. So we're going to cut across here. We're going to make a much more elegant solution. We're going to bridge across there and see if that actually brings in some money. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to stop talking, head over to a quick bit of speed build. This shouldn't take too long, all being well, and we'll rejig this quarry route here, and I'll be back with you in a couple of minutes time. So yeah, I will see you then. There we are, the line has been redrawn. It's a much shorter, more direct route. I mean, obviously if I could have got it straight across there, it would have been better. But I thought, no, that's too simple. and it's too big a bridge, if nothing else. So we've got a nice, elegant span over the bay there, which is very nice indeed. Oh, our train there. Awesome. That is the train that would have been taking the combat, yeah, back to the docks, or sorry, up to the docks there for delivery to the Hong Kong Port Moresby Islands. So let's get this moving along a little bit faster and see if we make any money delivering this stone. It does have to be said, this is a beautiful route. I mean, across the water, alongside the coastline, this fabulous sandy beach, through these beautiful woodlands, forests even, to deliver this stone straight out of the ground to a bustling industry here. Well, it will be bustling if it ever gets going. So let's see if our train makes any money of any significance. Nearly 1.4 million in the red already. It's not even a year old. Okay, 760,000. That's not bad. If it can do that on a regular basis, we might be all right. Okay, so we're going to leave that as is for the moment. Now, another part of this equation which I was looking at when I played on after the last episode was what happens to that conmat. Now, the conmat, as you may recall, is coming in by train to the dockside here outside Chengdu. and then the commat is shipped by these boats, which haven't delivered anything as yet, into the dockside here near the Hong Kong Freight Airport. And that is then transferred, that combat is then transferred to possibly a train going into Hong Kong or a train going into Port Moresby, both of which require combat. Port Moresby is getting a tiny amount at the moment, but it has quite a significant demand. Hong Kong, the demand isn't quite as big, but the city hasn't grown quite so much yet. It hasn't been connected to our network for as long as Port Moresby. Now, what I noticed having played on was there's a bit of an issue with what happens to the commat and indeed one or two other materials coming in and out of this airport. What I want to do is ensure that that commat is delivered here on this particular route into Hong Kong and Port Moresby, because we've got two quite expensive trains and lorries and stuff obviously are delivering material into those two towns coming in from this airport and train station. And what was happening when I played on was a lot of that cargo was actually taken out of this airport straight away and delivered into our main hub at Ajaxima Epic MMX, the multimodal freight exchange. So what I want to do here is fiddle with the loading arrangements for this airport. So if we look at, I think it's mainly the Ajaxima one that needs fiddling with, because we've got this route here which is delivering machines and only machines so far into Erewhon, which is right at the other end of the map, right down south, because this is the north end of the map. So what I want to do is adjust this line here. So from Hong Kong Freight Airport, it does not take Conmat. So that stays on this island here, or possibly goes to Erewhon. I'm not sure yet. Well, Ajaxima is the main one because that's where everything is connected. Well, most everything is connected in terms of our freight, network. I also want to take out the machines, because what tended to happen after I played on for a bit was that those machines which were going to go to Erewhon are being diverted now to go into the Ajaxima network. And I don't want that, because then that second airline, the blue airline to Erewhon, would start losing money because it have nothing to deliver. So I want to take out the machines from there. And also, I don't think we want to bring logs in here. No, but that we need to do at the other end. So we're not taking out the commat, and we're not taking out machines on the Ajaxima route. That's good. Okay. So we'll leave that as is, and we'll go to Ajaxima Epic MMX up here. The airport. That's yeah. This airport still does both freight and passengers, so it is a touch busy. So if we go to the freight services, yeah, we've got a fair amount of logs waiting here to be delivered. I don't need that. I don't want that. So actually I could have done it from the other end, couldn't I? I just wanted to check at this airport as well, see what the situation was. So from Ajaxima here, we do not want to deliver any logs. And I'm just wondering if I also want to, because there is a forest and a sawmill down near Hong Kong, if I want to take logs out of the other side as well, coming out of Hong Kong. And no, I'm going to leave it like that for the moment. We shall... actually, no, I will. We'll take logs off that one just to be certain. Because if we take logs out of that, then what that will do, go all the way back there again, is it will affect... Yeah, we've got a forest bringing logs into the sawmill here, to the machines factory. Yeah, so if we divert any of the logs coming out of there out onto the main island, into the main network, then they won't get into that sawmill and into that machine factory, and that would be a cascade of failure, basically, wouldn't it, I think. So right, that's that job done, I think. Now hopefully that's going to take a couple of years to sort out, and I'm not quite sure what the outcome will be, but we'll come back to that at some point, obviously. Just staying on freight for a little bit longer, there's something else I noticed when I was looking around the map. Look at this, for example, after the last episode, is this route here, the Jakarta freight bulk. We're getting lots of bread coming in from Izmir, I assume, and it's not being sent back into our main hub in Ajaxima for onward delivery anywhere else, because I've got a properly mixed consist on these trains, which are actually quite old. That's not a very long route, but what are those trains capable of? Let's have a look at that. So they are going at 50 miles an hour, which is about the fastest they can go. The power rating is very mediocre. But the thing is, I've split that between a boxcar and a liquid tanker. So yes, it's simply not bringing back enough of this bread from Jakarta, which it could do if I replaced those individual wagon cargo types with the generic NAFI. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to manage all those vehicles. We're going to replace them. Now I could actually replace the train as well, the locomotive. You're the 462, which is a good but not great locomotive. Class C50, that's you. Yeah, you see 864. Tractive effort isn't great. Now, do we have a more powerful? Why am I asking? I know the answer. Yes, we do have a more powerful locomotive. The C55 is not it. The 59 is a little bit more powerful. It's not that much more expensive, but I think we want to go substantially more than that. You go too slow. The China one could do here, actually. The wagons are limited to 50 miles an hour, so there's no need for it to go substantially faster than 50 miles an hour. I could replace it with another Japanese, but I'm using this loco a lot actually at the moment. It'd be nice to mix it up a bit. So I think, yes, we'll replace it with the China Railway one. We'll replace you with that. And what's our capacity at the moment on here? Is 96. Now the NAFs unfortunately don't have a very high capacity, so we're going to need quite a few of them. Where the heck are you? You're the flat car. Where are you? There you are. You carry only 8, you see. That's 96. I mean, how many wagons is that? That's quite a lot. And that gives me 183 metres in length, which might be all right. Okay, we're going to have to check our stations, but I'm going to replace them anyway because I need to do this. I need to get the extra capacity and the extra pulling power of those trains. Okay, nearly 15 million. That's that job done. Okay, so if we go to Jakarta, how long are you? 1, 2, 3. You're only 116 in length, so you will have a penalty for loading and unloading. And here you're coming into this station. Okay, you're a bay platform. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, you're plenty long enough. So it's just Jakarta we need to fix. Right, so let's come down here. And where should we fix it? We could fix it at either end. We've got a bridge coming in there, so I think we'll leave that end in as it is. So we'll extend out this way. This is a flatter approach. So let's take that. Got a train coming in, have we? Yes, let's just make sure that we are... Ooh, Manila's closing down, the iron ore mine. Right, we'll check for that in a second. Just want to make sure. I'm pretty confident, but it's always nice to see it validated in the actual proof, the actual physical evidence that you've got it right. Well, it is quite a long train now, isn't it? With all those naffy trucks. Shouldn't be too long before we get the newer 1950 naffy. Yeah, that fits perfectly. I'm seeing no indication of a penalty for loading and unloading. That is awesome. It's been a long time brewing, but we're going to have another look at a passenger route. Over the last few episodes, we've certainly been focusing mostly on freight because there's a lot of it going on. And as we noted at the beginning of this episode, I get it wrong quite often, so I need to fix things. But I noticed, you've just left, haven't you? Yes. This train here, this route here, the Ajaxima to Dien Bien Phu, wow, it's fully loaded in both directions. How many have we got waiting here? Still 148. Gosh. And those trains are 123 in length. However, let's bring that route in. You're going to that platform, aren't you? If we configure this, configure this station, that is 1, 2, 3 lengths long, which is 3 times 40, which is 120. So it's ever so slightly hanging over the end of that platform because that is a split platform. It's being shared on the other end by some other service, probably from Baghdad or Fukushima. So we're going to need to make this platform a bit longer. So we're going to extend this side of Ajaxima so that those trains can fit in so they don't get delayed when they're loading and unloading their passengers. And there's also a possibility I could put a longer train on there. So let's have a crack at that. So once again, this will take me a few minutes to do. Let's get that train properly out of the way. So I might want to do more jiggery pokery around here. There you go. So yeah, I will stop talking. We'll go into a quick bit of speed build. This shouldn't take too long, but you never know with the complications that I encounter or cause. I'll leave you to decide which. So I'll be back with you on the other side of this bit of speed build. See you there. Well, I think that's all done. I think that is working, or should work, for those GMBN food trains. Actually, do we want to manage these vehicles? How old are you? You're only 9 years old. We're in the middle of the year, so we've still got a good few months before there's any chance of any bigger, better, faster trains coming along. You got 62. Could I actually make you any faster or more capacious? No, your power rating is currently mediocre because you're running the SU, which I think is actually a pretty sound locomotive. Where's the SU? That's you. 71, 12. We've got the Russian, which goes at 53 and is a lot more powerful. But that's about it. Are we making money on this line? We probably are, aren't we? 5.5 million? That seems quite good. I'm tempted to put another train on there, I think. Until such time as we get a bigger, faster, more powerful locomotive. So I don't think we've really got anything. No, we could put 2 locomotives on there. No, not going to do that. We're going to clone that train. There you go. And we'll see if that picks up the slack. And finally, what I want to do here is I've not been paying much attention, to be fair with you, to be honest, to the aesthetics of my train stations. So this one is looking a little bit bare and bleak. I mean, there's very little cover for my lovely passengers. They've got some lovely, relatively new buildings to come into the station. There's not a lot of waiting room. And as we said, there's certainly no cover on this bright island that we've got. So we're going to remove all these canopies and find a new solution to protecting my passengers from the elements. I'm going to remove all those. And I have a suspicion as well that we're not going to see many underpasses either. I've just put down some fairly basic platform assets. Not entirely happy with the way it doesn't highlight all the things that I'm removing. So where are we in terms of underpasses? Got one there. That's about, oh, there's what, a couple, oh, there's a couple there. Oh, it's only this central couple of platforms which don't have underpasses. Okay, well, let's put those down then. So are they going to be? They're not under miscellaneous. Oh, they could be under miscellaneous. Underpass. Okay, now the suspicion you might give me different types of signage. I don't particularly want different types of signage. No, you're horrible. I don't want you at all. I'm sorry. What about you? Okay, you're this rather bland concrete as opposed to the cobble effect, but other than that, the signage is okay. Okay, we're good with that. So put you there. Do I want any more? We could put a couple up here. Yeah. You do include the seats, don't you? Yeah. And there, and there. Because these are quite long platforms. Yeah. There. And there. Looks good. Now, canopies. I have installed some new mods for canopies. What are you? You're a Japanese one. Now, you do, I think, have Japanese signs on there. That's alright. What are you? With office and store. That's a that's a standard. with chain something or other. Ooh, could use you. Actually, what we're going to do, I'm going to take you away. And I did add in... Is it going to appear yet? Bordeaux, Perrache, Strasbourg, and... I shouldn't let the game run on too much, actually, because I remember we had that iron ore mine closing down, didn't we? I want to look at that in case I need to do anything. Ah, here we are. It's the sloped roof. How does this look? So if I put you there and there, oh, I quite like you. If I put you there and well, that's too big. And there. How do you look? I like you. I like you a lot. Can I remember how I configured these? Probably not. Again, all the mods I'm using are in a Steam collection. And you can see that in the... or you can see it by following the link in the description to this video. Right, I think that's working. Okay, good. So I'll just finish this up. And we'll come back once the job has been done. Right, so our station is now fully enclosed, which is fair enough, I suppose. Yes, because you wouldn't want people walking off the street onto the platform, which they can there, but you know. Yeah, I quite like that. It's quite a good looking roof. Definitely. And it looks suitably old for 1946, I think. However, I was quite taken with those Japanese roofs as well. So we're just going to put a couple of those on at the end of the platforms. Were you onto miscellaneous? I think you were, weren't you? So that's probably with chain signs or something. With a store. I wonder what that means. Let's try it, shall we? Is that a ticket office or something? Oh, we've got an underpass there. Don't really want an underpass. Don't want to confuse it with having an underpass there as well. And, okay, we're not going to use that one then. This is a standard one. Actually, if I put you there... you've got the extra boards and the hanging signs. What do you have? If I put you on... Oops, on there. Could be change machines. Yes. That could be it. Yeah, I quite like you. I quite like you. But I don't want you there. I don't think. We'll just have plain ones. No, I'm not deleting the whole station, you fool. I'm going to configure it. Remove the roof. That's it. And we'll put you on. Yeah, I'm good with that. I quite like you. And we'll just have you. So every platform space is covered. Either by our really funky, fancy new arching roof, which we've imported all the way from Leeds, courtesy of some magnificent benefactor by the name of Mad Hatter, I believe. Possibly other modders as well. You'll see all that. Obviously, if you go and check the mod out on Steam. There you go. I think we're all done. Excellent. So I think that will do then. for our fabulous new Ajaxima station, and everyone is looking a lot more comfortable, shaded from the sun, protected from the rain and the wind by some new roofing. May need to extend the platforms on this side of the station as well. We shall see. We're certainly not overcrowding, but that may be needed. So I think we're going to leave it there. Everything appears to be working so far. I'll do a little bit of post-recording check. There we go. And that's one of our new trains. We'll follow you actually. Yes, so I will do a bit of a post-recording check, make sure everything is working fine, and discover any things that need to be fixed for the next episode. In the meantime, though, I will say thank you so much for joining me today. Hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you have, it would be great to hear from you. A little bit of a like would be lovely. Just click on the old thumbs uppy button. Even better if you've got any thoughts about what I'm doing with the game, what about the game itself generally, or if you fancy having something named. A train, a route, a station, an industry, even a new town. I am planning, as I said an episode or so ago, to add a new town to the map. There's a bit of open space somewhere which needs to be fully populated. Then please do just drop a note into the comments box below. That would be awesome. Other than that, of course, if you've not already subscribed to the channel, you could do that now. And that way you'll know when I upload another one of these or any of my other Let's Play series. But from me, Ajaxpost, here in Transport Fever 2, until the next time, bye-bye for now.